Welcome back, everyone. Next up, we have ACME Lithium. It trades on the OTCQX under the symbol ACLHF and on the CSE under the symbol ACME, and is a mineral exploration company focused on acquiring, exploring, and developing battery metal projects in partnership with leading technology and commodity companies. ACME has acquired or is under option to acquire a 100% interest in projects located in Clayton Valley and Fish Lake Valley, Esmeralda County, Nevada, at Shatford, Birse, and Cat-Euclid Lakes in southeastern Manitoba, and at Bailey Lake in northern Saskatchewan. Please welcome its CEO, Steve Hanson. Welcome back, Steve. Nice to see you again.
Hi, Anna. Good to see you as well.
All right. The floor is yours. Call me back when you're ready for questions.
Great. Thanks, Anna. Pleasure to be here today, and thanks, everybody, for joining this presentation. Some interesting things happening here at ACME Lithium, and again, it's been a very busy couple of years, and we're really excited about what's going to happen here in 2023. As Anna mentioned, we're a lithium explorer and developer, and we're really focused on the North American market. We're traded on the CSE in Canada and on the OTCQX in the United States. I'm not just the president and CEO of the company. I'm also the founder of the company. I've spent 30 years in the resource sector on all four continents, working in not just in mining, but also in alternative energy and in oil and gas. And I've worked on some interesting projects. This in particular is one that I've been most excited about. And in particular, there's a generational opportunity that's happening in battery metals and in particular in lithium. We're seeing a major shift in the lithium-ion battery. We use it in our daily lives with our cell phones and our laptops, and now with hybrids and electric vehicles, and most importantly in grid storage. Again, massive growth in this sector. And then I've assembled a package of projects that are regionally very important. There's only a couple of places in North America that currently produce lithium, and so we've put a package of a portfolio together that we're actively exploring and developing in great jurisdictions in Nevada, in Manitoba, and in Saskatchewan. And then I've assembled a board and a technical team that have a track record of developing projects and de-risking them around the world on all four continents. So this is really the core thesis here. We're in the right market. We've got the right address for our projects, and I've got a great team that we've assembled. We take it for granted that we open our cell phones and our laptops, maybe our e-bikes or our power tools, and now our vehicles, and we take it for granted that it's readily available, and it's not. In fact, there's only a handful of countries that produce most of the lithium in the world, and we need to change that. Canada and the United States and Europe are far behind in developing projects. Lithium's found in brine, it's found in clay, and it's found in hard rock. It's a lightweight metal that's really driving our world today. I'm going to skip over some of the macro sides. These are some of the themes that we're following, and obviously why we think this industry has massive potential. This slide deck is available on our website. Please feel free to visit it. Some of the drivers that we're seeing as a result of what is really an economic and national security crisis for lithium, because we don't have a robust domestic supply. We're seeing some dramatic changes happening at the federal, the state, and the provincial level. The United States, starting with the National Blueprint on Lithium back in June of 2021, and then the Defense Production Act, and then followed by the Inflation Reduction Act, is now backing battery metals and in particular lithium to ensure that there's a domestic supply. So huge tailwind coming out of the United States and now Canada, with massive unprecedented investment that we've never seen before in backing projects to ensure that we have a domestic supply. So as battery factories are built throughout North America, we need to ensure that we have a domestic supply and that we don't rely on foreign countries for that. Something you may not know is that 4 countries produce majority of lithium in the world. Chile, Argentina, Australia, and China produce over 95% of the lithium in the world. So this has to change. We need a domestic supply in the United States, in Canada, and frankly in Europe for that matter. with the massive growth that we're seeing in the industry. And again, the good news is there's a tailwind behind this industry. All stakeholders are behind it. We're seeing capital flow into this sector, and governments are now behind it at the federal, state, and provincial level. So let's talk about our projects. And I've assembled this over the last couple of years, and we've been very strategic in how we put these projects together. We have two in the southwestern region of Nevada, called Clayton Valley and Fish Lake Valley, and then a group of projects in southeastern Manitoba, and then a very large land position in northern Saskatchewan. And the reason why Nevada is important really is it's been the epicenter of development for lithium for the last a number of years, and is the only place where lithium is currently produced in the United States. Albemarle, a New York Stock Exchange company, about a $30 billion market cap, and one of the largest producers of lithium globally in the world, has an operation there called Silver Peak, about halfway between Las Vegas and Reno. There's quite a bit of development ongoing in that region as well. We have two projects that are close by. Number of battery factories are now in Nevada, Tesla, Panasonic, and others being built. So it's really a hub of activity that we're seeing in Nevada, and we're advancing these projects rapidly right now. Nevada has recently been named the number one, or one of the top mining jurisdictions in the world. There's a long history of mining in Nevada, obviously, with precious metals, with alternative energy. You can work there 12 months of the year. You're not in the middle of a jungle somewhere. You've got great infrastructure, power, and most importantly, you've got really talented people. Human capital is important in this business, and you have it. And then you're near market. So potential here to have world-class projects developed. And again, ACME is continuing to advance our projects. So let's focus in on the southwestern region, again, about halfway between Reno and Las Vegas. We have two projects, one in Clayton Valley. And as I mentioned, this is the epicenter of really development in the United States. Albemarle has been producing lithium from brine here since 1966. We are their neighbor to the northwest. And then over the foothills, we have our Fish Lake Valley projects that are next to a world-class lithium boron mine. So focusing in on the Silver Peak region, again, this is the only place where lithium is currently produced in the United States. It's kind of shocking to think that there's only one place that currently produces lithium. They've been producing lithium here since 1966. A lot of companies talk about being a neighbor and they're 20 miles away. We, in fact, are the neighbor to the northwest. We started exploring on this northwest side of this ancient lake bed. We believe that the same lithology and intervals could be drilled into this aquifer that was potentially productive for lithium brine. So we used what's called geophysics. It's where we look at the earth and ultimately define some drill targets that we could go after to hopefully find lithium in economic grade and size. So last summer, we drilled our maiden hole here in this ancient lake bed. And sure enough, we drilled through sediments and intervals that were productive historically. And we found lithium. We found lithium coming into the system at about 275 feet. And then it continued to increase in grade all the way down to the bottom of the hole. So this discovery got us excited. And we've been working ever since in advancing this project. So I spent the fall working on procurement and planning and permitting with the Nevada state. And ultimately, we received our permits in December. And then we mobilized and brought in a bigger rig and started drilling here at the end of January in 2023. So this is one of the largest brine programs to take place in the southwestern United States in recent years. It's a 4-hole program. We're drilling a test well and ultimately a pump test. So part of that is not only do you need grade, but you need to understand how the aquifer operates or flows. And then we're drilling some step-out holes that are exploration holes that ultimately define where is the reservoir and how big could it potentially be. So we've recently announced that we've completed our first deep hole to 2,000 feet. We're moving on to a test well here in the next couple of weeks. And then with success, again, there's no guarantees here, but with success, we'll move on to 2 further exploration holes that'll step out from here. So really exciting. This is a major program for the company. We'll have rolling results out over the course of the May-June timeframe. We'll have updates as to how this program is going. And really my goal here with this phase 2 program is to ultimately get to a resource. That's what we want to accomplish here. We want to have economic grade. We want to have scale and size. And again, hoping to advance this discovery at Clayton Valley. New technology is really changing the way our industry works. Traditionally with brine, it was put into massive evaporation ponds. You may have seen the pictures earlier on of these ponds that extend many, many football fields in length. And these evaporation ponds can take up to 2 years for the brine or salt water to evaporate. And you're left then with a clay or a paste on the surface that's then processed to extract lithium. There's got to be a better way to do this. And so a number of companies are pouring tens of millions in dollars into what's called direct lithium extraction, or DLE. Again, a number of them have contacted me looking for our brine to test and sample and prove they've got a great technology. Many of them are building pilot plants around the world, including Latin America and North America. In fact, one of the largest players in this area, in their innovations division, Schlumberger, partnered with Panasonic, are building a DLE plant to the southeast of us, not very far away. They've just received their final permits last week, and that DLE pilot plant should be under construction here in the next few weeks. And the goal here for them is to complete that pilot plant and be ready to process brine sometime in the summer of 2023. So the fact that they're located just southeast from us, we believe our brine could be very similar to brine that they're testing. As part of this upcoming pump test, we'll send totes of brine to them. Again, we hopefully will be able to collaborate with them down the road. We see them as an ideal partner for our project. Again, a number of others will be providing brine to, and again, hoping to have a DLE collaboration sometime down the road in the future. I mentioned we have a second project in Nevada, just over the foothills, about 20 miles away. You actually drive a road from Clayton Valley, Nevada, our brine project, a dirt road up over the foothills, and you pass what's called Rhyolite Ridge. And next to Rhyolite Ridge is a world-class lithium boron project. It's one of the world's largest lithium boron projects, and it's in late stages. It's run by a company called Ioneer. They're an Australian company. They sold 50% of this project for $800 million US a couple years ago. Most recently, those parties announced offtake with Ford, Toyota, and Panasonic for all of the lithium that they will produce. And then more recently, at the end of January, the US government announced an up to $700 million US conditional loan to put this project into construction. So again, this is one of the top projects in the United States, and we're hoping it ultimately will go into construction here sometime in early 2024. There are a number of steps still left to go, but again, it's a late stage project with a world-class lithium boron asset or resource that's located there. So you see on this map here, as you drive that dirt road, you drive through the resource, and in fact, you drive right down the hill into the valley there, and you drive right through our project. So we are contiguous to the west. Rocks do stop and start, of course. Just because they have a world-class resource doesn't necessarily mean we will, but it certainly gives us good proximity. And again, we're hoping to make a discovery here. It's in early exploration. Recently, we've announced some of the highest lithium samples to date ever historically sampled in this region, and in particular on our project. So again, we're very encouraged by some of the lithium values that have been sampled here. We announced this winter, up to 14, 18 ppm, lots of hits at 1200 ppm. So we're in the range that looks really, really promising for this project. We've done some geophysics. We're seeing some sedimentary beds or clay beds just below the surface. We've got a number of drill targets here. This region has never been drilled. And again, we're hoping to drill at Fish Lake sometime in 2023 and make a discovery. And the fact that a potential mine may be under construction next door is really going to be great for us down the road. It gives us some huge advantages from a permitting standpoint. It allows that there's going to be infrastructure in the region. So again, being a neighbor of a world-class mine certainly doesn't guarantee that we're going to be successful, but it certainly gives us that somebody's done a lot of the heavy lifting in advance. So look forward to news here where we'll commence drilling here, hopefully sometime in 2023. And then Anna mentioned we have some projects in Canada. So again, two really great projects in Nevada that we're actively advancing. And then in the southeastern region of Manitoba, there exists a world-class lithium, cesium, and tantalum mine called the Tanko mine. Up until a couple weeks ago, it was the only place where lithium was produced in Canada. It's kind of hard to believe, again, only one place that produces lithium in the US and one in Canada. A second project now has come on stream recently in the province of Quebec. But again, historically, this is the only place where lithium's produced. The Tanko mine was bought by Sinomine, a very large Chinese company, a number of years ago. It's currently in production. And in fact, they are shipping high-grade ore by rail car across to Vancouver, onto freighters, and then being shipped to China for processing. So it really does say that we really need a domestic supply of production in North America. I was able to assemble one of the largest land packages south of the Tanko mine. So you'll see here in the upper central part of this slide, the Tanko mine, those diagonal gray lines are their mineral leases. Tantalum Mining is their subsidiary where you see mining claims. And then we are in red. We're only about 1.5 miles south of the Tanko mine. In fact, their power lines go right through our project here. So vastly underexplored. Prospective region where you have host rocks called pegmatites for lithium. And we started drilling here at the end of January this year. So we're in the middle of an active drill program. We're hoping to make a discovery. Again, we're near an active mine. Rocks do stop and start. But again, we have indications, certainly from geochem, geophysics, structural mapping, that there certainly is potential in this region. I truly believe that there will be multiple discoveries made in and around this area. There's a number of other companies that are exploring here. All the ground has been staked and taken up as there's a mad rush, certainly for good lithium projects. So I think this whole region has massive potential down the road. And then we have a second project about 20 miles north. Again, early stage exploration, but it's part of our portfolio. And then most recently, a prospector approached me who was based in Saskatchewan, a central province in Canada, and he had found lithium-bearing spodumene boulder trains and outcrop that basically contained very decent grade lithium. It's very rare to see this on surface in outcrop and in boulder trains. With very little work done in this region. So I was able to secure a very large land package in northern Saskatchewan. We're one of the largest landholders now in the region. We have a district-sized land position. We staked some additional ground due to a structural anomaly. It went through this region in blue. So again, it's early exploration. We've got lithium on surface in multiple showings, and we will begin an active exploration program here starting in June of this year. So really exciting area, lots of upside. And again, we're hoping to make a discovery here in Saskatchewan. So I've got a great team, a few members here. Yanis Titsos with BHP, one of the world's largest mining companies for 19 years. I've got a great small technical team in Canada and the US that obviously advance our projects, have experience in lithium, and have worked on all continents around the world. And now I'm backed by some of the top lithium investors in North America. My largest shareholder is Waratah Capital Advisors and their electrification and decarbonization fund. They've invested in my company twice. Lithium Royalty Corporation is a top lithium investor. They've invested in 25 projects around the world, including producers. I'm one of the juniors they've invested in, so we're very fortunate to have their backing as well. I'm backed by a number of mining funds, family offices, mining executives. So again, I've got a great shareholder base now, including Europe, Australia, the US, and Canada. Again, we're backed by some great investors and shareholders who have supported the business. We've been very busy. We've done this in a couple of years. I've had my running shoes on in building this business. We're very excited about the future here in 2023. So to have one project next to an existing mine is great. To have two is really rare. And now to have a third is really unheard of, where we have great location, right? We have proximity to infrastructure, and certainly we have proximity to potential. And we're drilling. We're drilling on our brine project, an expanded phase 2 program right now. We're drilling in Manitoba, and then we have a third project that's drill ready. So we're going to continue to advance these projects. It's a risky business. You are in some ways finding a needle in a haystack. I think we have a better chance than that, frankly. due to our location and our team and proximity. But again, we're hoping to make a serious discovery, hopefully, or more than one discovery over the course of 2023. So, looking forward to having rolling news out over the next few months on our projects. We'll provide updates as to what's going. And then obviously we hope that Mother Earth has the goods and pays off from below ground. Again, excited about what's going to happen here in 2023 as we advance projects. So we're, again, traded on the CSE under ACME. We're on the highest level of the OTC markets. We were upgraded to the QX in the summer of 2022. Almost 60 million shares out, issued and outstanding currently. We trade at about low 30s US, 32, 33 cents US right now. So we have about a $22, $23 million market cap US. So interesting opportunity. We have cash in the bank. We're funded through these drill programs. We have access to capital, and we're in decent shape. But if you have success, you need to continue to fund. So, in fact, I've been meeting with investment banks, with institutional investors. I'm on a roadshow out east next week, and we'll continue to seek financial partners to advance our projects. I've also had quite a bit of interest for other companies, larger companies, medium-sized companies, in a number of industries that have been looking to partner on our projects. And certainly that's another way that potentially we could use other people's capital to advance our projects. I think we've got one of the best portfolios of lithium projects in North America. And again, continuing to create value for our shareholders over time, and look forward to getting news out over the next few months. So thanks, everybody. Again, I've been fairly brief here. I've given you the highlights of our company. Feel free to contact me directly. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. This presentation is located on our website. We do have much more information on each of our projects if you want to do further due diligence. And again, looking forward to your questions if anybody has any.
Great job, Steve. We do have some questions for you. John Roberto asks, has ACME been approached for a joint venture?
Well, I guess it depends on what you call joint venture. We certainly have been contacted by a number of companies that are interested in using direct lithium extraction. They are technology companies that are advancing what is an emerging technology, and they're interested certainly in testing our brine. We have been approached by global companies, not just in the United States and Canada, by others around the world that are interested in high quality projects, either in joint venture or earning in, partnering in some way to collaborate. And again, the world is scrambling to find good lithium projects. It is a crisis in North America. We need a domestic supply. So, there has been ongoing dialogue with a number of companies that are interested in doing further due diligence on our projects. It's part of what we do. There's no guarantee that these partnerships or joint ventures will happen, but there has been quite a bit of interest, in particular because of our location of our projects and some of the initial work we've done in advancing them. So they're very promising, and I think as we get more information out, I think we'll continue to generate interest in collaborating. And again, I see partnerships as part of the role that I have as CEO. I've been involved in many joint ventures over the course of my career on all 4 continents. I've been involved in some M&A activity as well, where companies have been bought by larger companies. So part of my role here is to create shareholder value. I work for the shareholders. And so the number one goal here is to de-risk these projects, to create value in them, and ultimately see what will benefit the shareholders in the long run.
Wonderful. Joe Elrod wants you to give us an idea of the water rights issues in Clayton Valley specifically, and how does your project there plan to acquire the water rights?
Yeah, so there's a multi-phase process you go through for water rights. So for us to be drilling our brine project right now, there's a water permit that you apply for that allows you to use a certain amount of water based on your disturbance. And so we went through that process and successfully received those permits. And so we have that permit right now, and we're able to obviously drill and do a test well at our project currently. As we expand, if we wanted to do a lengthier pump test, if we wanted to get into a DLE pilot plant, there's a next stage of a water permit that you go through. We actually have submitted that now to the appropriate authorities with the belief that we will have success. There's no guarantee, but we've already got ahead of the curve here in applying for that permit. Again, it's in for review right now. We're hopeful that we will get it, but again, we have to have success here with the drill bit over the course of this winter and spring season. Ultimately, if you want to go into production, you need a much larger permit. And currently right now, Albemarle, a $30 billion company on New York that is operating their facility at Silver Peak, and it's been in operation since 1966. They have a very, very large water permit in the region. And it's our belief that there's rulings out there that they potentially cannot have a monopoly. And the belief is that there are other players in the region that should share in water rights. We believe that Schlumberger and Panasonic, who are regionally in the area, that ultimately a consortium may be formed down the road. Again, there's no guarantee that will happen, but we believe that the parties in this basin, there's very few of us that have brine projects, frankly. There's only a handful of us. And so I ultimately believe that the best scenario for everybody is to have a consortium that could be formed. Ultimately, if there's a direct lithium extraction plant built, it would serve maybe multiple companies, and that there would be a common water permit that would be issued to a consortium. So we're continuing to dialogue with all parties, including government. What I like about DLE as opposed to evaporation ponds is your use of water is much less. Your footprint is smaller. It's more environmentally friendly. Your recoveries are better. There's a lot of advantages to DLE. So, the goal here is to continue to advance our project, get to a resource, continue to dialogue with the parties in the region, and again, ensure that we're using best practices and minimize water use, but hopefully in collaboration with some of the other parties that are in this particular valley.
Some more questions on the DLE. Tio Lee asks if there has been any more discussion on selecting your DLE technology partner or partners, and will ACME develop proprietary DLE technology?
Tens of millions of dollars have been poured into DLE by a number of companies for a number of years. In many cases, we're seeing some very good advancement in that area. DLE is still in the pilot stage. I think many of the companies will say that they're there from a commercialization standpoint. I think we're still probably a year to 18 months away from full commercialization of DLE, but it's a really exciting technology. And I ultimately think that we're going to see brine projects in Chile and Argentina, in the United States and other regions of the world use DLE. Part of our process in evaluating them, and it's a mutual evaluation, is they need to test our brine to see the chemistry, the metallurgy. Does their DLE technology work with our brine? And so part of our evaluation is to understand, recoveries, costs, operation costs. All those things need to be understood and evaluated. So for me, the first test here is to get samples of brine off to these various companies, and then begin discussions about how we can collaborate together. And really the results are what are going to be the true test. How can we do this in an economic way? How can we get excellent recoveries? How can we be most environmentally friendly when it comes to water use, footprint, those kind of things? And how can we build a plant that's sufficient for hopefully not just us, but others in the region? The fact that Schlumberger and Panasonic are building a DLE plant just to the southeast of us in the same valley, I think has some huge advantages. And I'm not saying they are a number one pick, but obviously their proximity is really important. They're two very, very large companies. They've got deep pockets. And again, if I were to be able to collaborate with them, that would be something certainly that would be on my near-term wish list. But time will tell. We've got to continue drilling and have success there first. And again, hoping to have a collaboration with a DLE company sometime later in 2023.
Wonderful. Well, great work, Steve, and thank you for joining us again. We've got lots of questions for you. We'll send to you. You can answer on your own time, but we look forward to speaking with you again very soon.
Great. Thanks, Anna. Appreciate your time today, and thanks everybody for joining this call. Feel free to reach out to me at any time.
Perfect. Thank you, Steve. Have a great rest of your day.
Great. Thanks, Anna.
Okay, everyone, stay with us. We'll be right back.